Hello everyone, welcome to the show. My name is Madhumita Ghosh from Media 7 and I am joined by Sarita Bahety, the Head of Strategic Alliances and Partnership Sales of the European region at L&T Technology Services for a Women's Day special episode. Hi Sarita, thank you for joining us. How are you doing today?
Thank you, Madhumita, for hosting me. It's great to be a part of this podcast on celebration of Women's Day.
As we all know, International Women's Day is a monumental event that celebrates the many successes, developments, and progress women have made around the world. This day advocates for a gender-equal world, free of biases, and pushes women to reach for the stars against all forms of bias and discrimination. Congratulations and thank you, Sarita, for being one of the many women leaders in business to have broken the bias and become one of the few people that we can truly look up to. So please tell us, Sarita, do you really think it is time to break the bias, or have we actually made it?
Well, it's a very relevant question, Madhumita. We haven't really broken the biases. Biases still exist today in multiple forms, and they're so systemic and inherent in our system. So when I talk about biases, these could be bias across gender, religion, or political affiliations, one's academic background, socio-cultural background, etc. So as you can see, it's across the spectrum, and gradually we are recognizing that, biases exist and raising awareness about them and trying to eradicate them. So I would like to give my own example wherein I was myself not aware of a bias that, was self-inflicted. So this is a time when I was a university student and we had a chance to take up certain subjects for our major. And we had a bunch of other women students also looking at different options that were offered to us. We had options such as computer science, electrical engineering, and mechanical engineering at that point in time. And most of us felt that, mechanical engineering would involve strenuous physical work, etc. Would entail things that we could not comprehend at that point in time. And we chose to take so-called softer subjects such as computer science or electrical engineering. And now that I reflect, I think that it was a self-inflicted bias because of which we deprived ourselves from learning about different new things. And therefore, I think biases are within. They say that, charity begins at home. I feel that parity begins at home. That is, equality has to begin from home or from within. So we need to first of all look at ourselves before going about complaining that, the whole world is biased against us. So have we done that? And now is the time for us to look at that and reflect and see what is it that we can do.
Truly, we have, as women, we have gone a long way, and it's nothing short of remarkable, but we still do have a long way to go. And as a woman in business with several years of experience working with startups and Fortune 200 companies across industries and geographies, how did you break the bias? And what were some of the biggest lessons that you have learned?
So Madhumita, in my case, I've been very privileged to have had tertiary education in management and various other fields of academics. And that has helped open doors for me across business opportunities in different industries and geographies. So education can be one of the ways in which we can help, reduce bias. And I have also personally learned that we need to raise our voices when we see a bias. It could be against an individual or a complete stranger, but it's important to speak up and not just be a bystander, but be an upstander. Of course, that can mean you can have fewer friends, but then we always need to stand for the right thing and say the right thing when the time comes.
Thank you for sharing all these lessons with us. So speaking of lessons and learning curves, I think the last couple of years must have been the most challenging and difficult years because of the COVID-19 outbreak. So when remote working became the norm, we struggled to revamp our lives and it had to become the new normal. How did you adjust to this shift?
So Madhumita, in our case, I come from technology industry, and tech industry remote working has been on for quite some time. So even before COVID, we were used to the remote way of working. And therefore, we were pretty successful in spite of COVID. The remote work continued in seamless collaboration. And in fact, it also helped bringing the global workforce together, because now we were able to connect with them over, different ways of networking, etc. So in my case, I think it can work either ways, remote working or working at physical offices or work from home or work from anywhere really, so long the job gets done. It's important to execute what we want to. Location doesn't matter much. Although it's important to have a physical location connects as far as possible when we want to build those trusted relationship, because for that in-person relationships and connects are super important. But otherwise, I think remote works very well. And now increasingly, perhaps we'll be looking into a hybrid way of working that would be even more beneficial, bringing the best of both worlds.
That must have been quite helpful during this difficult time. But with offices are now opening up and teams are now connecting offline again. And once again, we're in the middle of another transition. So especially for women and single parents and people who have loved ones to take care of, back to office doesn't seem as exciting. So what would you say is what advice do you have for people like this? How could they best adjust to this situation?
So with or without remote working, at least in the way we were working, we always worked across time zones and had global teams to work with. So even with COVID, and now that we are learning to live with COVID and beyond, we will see that the work across time zones will continue. And therefore, we need to, as an individual, define a schedule and stick to it. So be it, any member of our team, we try to be as respectful as possible to their time zones, as well as do the same for us. So once we define that and stick to it, it becomes a breeze. And I would, encourage everybody to do so, because we cannot go on 24/7. It will burn out the best of the individuals.
So does your new role at L&T also require you to work from office, or are you working from home too?
So in my role, I can work across locations. I work mostly with partners and internal stakeholders. My partner organization can be within country or even outside the country that I am in. So it can involve traveling as well. And I'm quite comfortable working across locations as well. So long the job gets done, locations don't matter.
That's really great. And congratulations on your new role. Please tell us, what is your vision for the company? How are you planning to nurture and foster these partnerships?
So I'm very excited to be in this role. My charter is to grow our partnerships with the strategic alliances across European region. And in my role, I'll be looking to foster these relationships and ensure that we are able to join and drive business together, and to bring best outcome for our clients, and also positive impact in terms of social responsibility, sustainability, and make them successful. So it's a win-win proposition for all. And I've always believed in collaboration. It helps bring best of both worlds, as in from our side, as well as from our partner technology investments. And in doing so, we always exceed. I always say that 1 + 1 is more than 2, especially in a partnership, and a successful one at that. So I'd be looking forward to driving revenue together with our partners in the region going forward.
Best of luck for your newest journey. We'll be looking out for all of your achievements. Thank you, Sarita. It has been really wonderful speaking to you. Before we come to an end, I have just one last question for you. Which women leaders do you look up to and take inspiration from, and why?
So Madhumita, I look up to women leaders across the field, be it from business or politics, sports, entertainment, professions such as lawyers, doctors, etc. So whether we talk about, erstwhile head honcho of Pepsi, Indra Nooyi, or Nancy Pelosi from the US representative speaker, or it could be, leaders such as Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, among others. So these are the women who have gone against the grain, and they have challenged the status quo and done things which we thought were inconceivable. And they have raised the bar for rest of the women, helped empower and give us a voice that we felt we lacked. And we look forward to, imbibing from them the leadership qualities and continue to get inspired by them. And also give back to the upcoming generation by being inspirational leader for them. So that's in short to say that, yes, we are looking forward to breaking these biases, and leadership and inspiration always helps break the bias.
Absolutely. It's women like you, it's leaders like you that make the job for the rest of us much easier. So thank you, Sarita. Thank you for joining us, and thank you to our listeners who tuned in today. If you liked what listening to us, please subscribe for more content like this, and comment below to let us know who you'd like us to speak to next.